So what I like about your
Oh, that
acts,
works.
right? Your
Uh-huh.
acts or your performances is
Yeah.
that you are always telling a story to get
Right,
them
right.
to be like connected with the trick. So you take them on a journey. Tell me
Hmm.
how that goes and tell me your thought process about that.
Yeah, it's when I started magic, I didn't hang out with a lot of magicians, right? So the usual pathway for a magician in LA is you automatically want to strive for the magic castle, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which is fine. It's like there's not a problem with that route at all. I mean, I was a member um a couple years back and stuff. But I got into the open mic scene. Oh, thanks, Saul. Appreciate it. He texted me. That was private. Um, but fucking our friends are crazy, man. Um, I I got into the open mic scene out in Carson,
Mm-hmm.
and I was doing a bunch of mics out here, and then I did street performing for a while on Third Street, and then I got into the open mic scene in LA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Open mic scene in LA, I had to figure out how would I. And here's the thing, for me, the goal is always Vegas, right? Like I want this Vegas show, I want my own theater, blah 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 blah. But it's like, how can I compete with? I'm not gonna produce a Tiger or a fucking. I'm not that guy, right? Like maybe in the future, but as of right now, I'm not that guy.
Right.
But here's the thing, what's the what's the best part of any show? And that's kind of my thought process is what's the best thing that I've seen entertainment wise in my life? And at
Mm-hmm.
that point, the answer was Disneyland, right?
Okay.
I fucking love Disneyland. And then I kind of dissected mentally what it was. And all it is you're living a story,
Right.
right? Disneyland takes all these precautions to make sure you don't see the outside world,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and people that work at Disneyland, they're like, yeah, from inside the park, you're not allowed. They built it so you can't see the outside.
Right.
Um, and that's because it's immersion, right? So you want your audience immersed in this thing. You want them to experience this story
What
with
up,
you.
100? What up, what Jeremy?
What
Yeah.
up?
Uh-huh.
And I think that's how I approach my magic in the sense of how
You
can
do.
I get what's up, EJ? How can I get the audience to experience the what's the fastest way from point A to point B, right?
Right.
And
Okay.
it's total immersion. Like I just dunk them in a tank of like magic, my life, right? Like my stories. And I think as of right now, I've been really liking that process of just like pinpointing a feeling, telling a story, and then the magic honestly comes last. You know what
Okay.
I mean?
Right. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And it always starts like when you talk about marketing or you talk about anything, right? Art, marketing, product development, it's always user first,
Right.
right? And that's kind of where I start. I start with user first. What do I want them to feel? And then I just work my way backwards. And magic is usually the trick is usually the last possible seasoning to that
Okay.
meal. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. You take us on journeys, and it's so amazing to see that how you just incorporate it into the magic and just
Thanks, man.
being in the own lane of the magic scene is
Hmm.
a completely different but very unique scene than being like a musician or a poet or anything like that. It's literally, if you want it to be, it could be everything all into one.
Yeah. It's I think magic uses from my personal perspective, I use magic, but I also use as many other art forms as possible, right?
Right.
Because there's music, there's comedy, there's acting, I mean, the magic's always there, but there's like mime, there's like movement, there's like martial arts sometimes, there's fucking, it's like just a lot of stuff to be able to figure out and put together. But I think that's why I like it so much.
It's very complex, and you could also